Elijah Muhammad's job was to build us a military.
Right.
The tribes, the tribal leaders is to make the noise for your tribe to go where you at.
To have peace and harmony on you.
He said he puts peace and harmony on everybody.
Thank you.
Go back to bed, dude.
That's my like. Now that's a little boy. That's a little young guy. That one right there. I told you that one right there. That one right there. He's this.
But I don't know if that's gonna be feasible because we probably gonna want somebody else on the dollar. We probably ain't gonna want no people. We probably gonna want to use totem animals or something. I'm on the $50 bill. King motherfucker Kong, Gorilla Gride, GD Ride up this motherfucker.
No, yeah, this is
Big 50 in the house.
This is X Rod, his thoughts in Alabama Riverfront Brawl. I think you talking about that when they fight on that boat. I think that's what he talking about. That boat.
That's exactly what they talking about. You know, Treaty of the Hat. He threw his hat in the air.
Yeah.
Right. It's the Treaty of the Hat. It's the war call.
Yeah. Why would they? Yeah, I wonder why they promoted that shit like it was just some kind of.
So you would go Google. So you would go to Google and type in Treaty of the Hat. You got to remember, they broke every treaty. They never honored one because they didn't think that we was going to ever figure out who he is and hold them to the reality that they fraudulently created contracts under false pretenses. Half of the treaties were signed with $5 Indians that ain't from here.
Right, that's right.
They brought them with them and dressed them up like us with feathers and shit, our ceremonial garb that we wear for Mardi Gras. They put that on them motherfuckers like we wear that shit everywhere we go.
That's right.
We dress up for Mardi Gras all over the country.
That's true. That's true.
All of a sudden we forget that we dress up for Mardi Gras. We finna celebrate this shit. This is hostile takeover. This is the getting rid of the corporate fiction from off the land. The war already been being fought. While y'all was sitting here watching this Biden fiasco and the Ukraine fairy tale story, the war already been being fought, guerrilla style and guerrilla warfare all over the world.
Right.
All you got to do is look up the forest fires. Why in the fuck is it that many goddamn forest fires?
Right.
Because those people who was making all that money, they was hiring and training private military. They was buying boys from China and Korea and as little boys and raising them up to know nothing but war. Right? So they had to be annihilated. If you wasn't one of them, you was the automatic enemy. When they send you up, when they send them out, they come out and tear shit up. Them they sleeper agents. They was getting other kids in other parts of the world doing this Jason Bourne shit on them.
Right. So the white people, like somebody say, like it's gonna be a war, but like a civil war or a racist war between whites and blacks. See, that's the game that they playing. The white and black.
That
game.
was part of that was part of the divide and conquer strategy.
Right.
Because if you know American history for real, you would know that before there was one slave over here, it was pale faces walking around on the land with us.
Right. Right.
Right. How do you think Maman Brigitte got into the pantheon of the Orisha? She a red-haired white girl.
Go ahead.
Right. How did she get there? Because we already had people of high mystic value coming from all over the world to learn here. This is the great metropolis of learning. Whatever you do over here, if you don't do nothing else, learn something.
That's right.
Right? So now at the end of these conclusions, what have we learned? The local government is the most important government to reclaim because that's how the people in the community take back their community. And if enough of us take back our community, we can meet the needs of the community better because it's in the hands of the people who live there. A lot of these communities was redlined and X'd out because we had nobody from the community who understood what was going on in the community and said, oh, they don't need nothing, they ain't asking for nothing. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. So by taking back the local government, by organizing a new city council, overthrowing the old one, the legal fiction, they'll let you go, they'll get out your way. Right? We did several videos on that. Because local government is the only control you truly have. That federal shit, that shit made up. That's a circus. That's a dog and pony show to keep you deluded as to what's going on in your face. What purpose do politicians serve? They don't write no motherfucking law. They get the law that was written from a motherfucking group of lawyers in a room somewhere.
It's just about money to me.
That's all it is.
What is money gonna get advocated to? That's all they do.
Right. So they come in and they criminalize what's natural to the people to make the people a natural criminal. Wow. Pay attention. Wow. The things that you do naturally, smoke marijuana, smoke cigarettes, right? They put restrictions and bans on it. So that's going to make you be they automatically belligerent to you.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Make your natural culture illegal. And then, you know what I'm saying? So you got to do what you naturally do. They can now bastardize you and criminalize you for doing what you naturally did on your land. Like with Bob Marley. Bob Marley, he's a Rastafarian, so in his religion, he can smoke, right? So I think he came over to America with a certain amount of marijuana, a couple of pounds, I think, and they arrested him, but they had to let him go eventually because they said that, oh, it was part of his religion. He had like 5 pounds or something. It was crazy, right? At the airport and shit. Yeah, so like, it is protection for indigenous people in the Indigenous Rights Act.
Right. So the Indigenous Rights Act is not a law, and they're not law. Okay. What they is a descriptive analysis of at what part of them resisting our culture are we at. So they telling us in the Indigenous Rights Acts, if we follow our own culture, oral traditions, be self-determining, and prove it, right? Yeah. Then they gonna get out our way.
So that's all we gotta do.
That's all it means.
We gotta self-determine. Be self-determined, man.
Yeah. So that's what's the problem with Baba. The problem with Baba is he was setting up the structure back up. He was reforming the community and buying up land.
Go ahead.
Right? That became belligerent to the system because he would start automatically going back to our tribal culture.
Right.
Right. So they take him out to bust the tribe up. Right. So now that get him a little bit longer to play their game.
Yeah, because it was almost over with for him, man, right then.
Yeah, Baba had him in the headlock. The entire record of the United Nubian Nations and more gonna be a bad mofo when he put it out.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, Let's Set the Record Straight was just the excerpt from it.
Yeah. See, look, it's some stuff that Baba didn't get a chance to. Yeah, but see, we working on some of it right now, man. We just ain't talking about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, Chief, what needs
I see. I was reading the question.
Okay. Hey, real quick.
It's really literally about how aware are we of our culture, and some people over here did ancestry do trace back to Africa, but the tribes that was already here is the ones we focused on, and we don't have no problem with nobody as long as they don't try to interfere with us restoring the matriarchy and rebuilding the clans' tribal rights, restoring the tribal rights back to the clans, right? We can clean the streets up in a week. We can stop the violence in a day. But you can't do none of that when your enemy is ruling over you, causing these things to transpire on purpose, and we not doing nothing to stop them. The internet is just a tool, people. It's like a wrench in a toolbox. And I don't be on here all day, every day, right? Contrary to popular opinion. But I do know what I'm talking about. And I do know that the entirety of this shit show is about to come to a grand finale real soon.
Right. That's right. Says what about Antarctica? That's interesting. That's my first time hearing that.
Look, America never honored a treaty, nowhere. All of their position of treaty power was predicated up on a constructed fraud. All of the treaties for the corporation known as America is canceled. It's just bankrupt and defunct. No longer operational. We need to start looking at what is it going to be like when we get back into the position to reap the benefit of the resources that we produce from our labor and from our land.
Right.
Right. So whether you think I'm a chief on the internet or not, it don't matter to me. Only thing matter to me is I put it in the public domain. Right. That what takes place is according to procedure.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is showing y'all the receipts for what I'm talking about, so y'all can have a clear understanding of what I'm saying, because sometimes I sound neurotic, but I know exactly what I be saying. But it be so far-fetched to a person that's conditioned to doing something one way that it sounds like it's wrong or that it's crazy. But that's only because you fighting your conditioning, not what I'm showing you, because I'm showing the receipts.
Right. Right. Shit, who is they? Who has surrendered our stuff? Oh yeah, she was saying, Ben. She must just count on, Rod. They look like us, but they ain't us. The laws.
Yeah. So, like I was telling them earlier, we already seized 650 airplanes full of gold from the Vatican. We seized the World Bank and International Monetary Fund for fraud and taxing the American people. Right. Under international law, we had a right to seize the corporation because they was committing, by the number of people and the amount of money, it was a gross felony in a high degree. It was like the same as trying to overthrow somebody's foreign government. But the banks were using the inflation fractional reserve banking process in order to steal the wealth of the people, and the people steady reaping less and less benefit for their labor and for the fruits of the land. They were sending the money to other people. We had to go seize all that back. He told you who he was. If he wasn't who he said he was, they'd have shut him up by now.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't who he said he was, them motherfuckers with them black suits would have been over there shutting him up. So I gotta believe that he exactly who he say he is, because I ain't seen no motherfuckers with no black suits run up on him. They came to see me at work, try to find out what I want. I'm not negotiating with you motherfuckers. I want my people to be made whole. I want you to stop pushing this homosexual agenda. I want you to stop pushing this rape campaign and misogyny and disrespect of the women and the men. You disrespect the women so bad it make the men disrespect themselves. That's some sour shit. You disrespect the women so bad you make the men disrespect themselves. They have to little themselves down in order to be at the level of respect that they can get for their woman. Then she lash out and we don't know how to fix it. Then we're not military savvy. But the man said who he is. They ain't popped up on him and told him, hey, you misleading people because they ain't fact checked him. So he must be on to something.
So hey, that tribe is a mix. That tribe is actually a mixed tribe.
What tribe?
The Lakota people, they actually mix with Hoshin, the Armaks, and I think the Hindus.
Look, did you hear what that lady said? You hear what Big Mama said on that last video?
What she said?
About the master kids and the white woman knew?
Nah.
Them little mulatto kids running around blowing at her husband?
Yeah.
Where them goddamn kids go? Where all them kids go?
That's a good question.
Most of them moved to the north and was passing. Who they marry? They passing. Where they live at while they passing? Who blood still in their veins while they passing, Elder?
Go ahead.
Right? They don't even know that the eugenics program by Margaret Sanger was singing about was written by Enki.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that because while he's using polarization of opposites to draw them together, where Enki want to draw them together using the separation by definition based on complexion. Mm-hmm. They're using two different things to get us together. So where did all of them motherfucking curly haired babies go off the plantation?
Right.
And them straight haired babies off the plantation? Where they go?
Right.
Where they at? So white girls just that just randomly happened. Ain't no drop of blood over there. Rhythm. Right. Where did they get it from? Where they got that blood? Hillbillies. Singing that bluegrass. That's that country boy music.
Right.
Yeah. They talk about try this in a small town. You goddamn right. Try it in a small town if you want to. That's what you call a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
We didn't fell apart. Sew this motherfucker back up.
Let's go.
Right? So
yeah, I think what he's trying to say about the AG, I don't know what Minister Farrakhan
listen. When we talk about doctrines, these doctrines like the Nation of Islam, the Nuwaubian Nation, the 5% Nation, these doctrines, these religious doctrines is there in order to try to make us remember some portions of one of our past lives. If you can remember a little sliver of it during the amnesia, you'll start your area created colonies. You want to come in and talk about that? Let's see. I really didn't have nothing to talk about. I just wanted to show y'all some of the slides in that video of what was. Hey, how you doing?
Peace. I just have like a comment, and maybe you could like tie it into something, but I literally know parts of my lineage. My maternal side is Caribbean, so she's from the island of Hispaniola, by the Caribbean Sea. Dominican Republic is what they call it, but it's really the land of Tainos. And I have
that's what
does. I'm sorry.
That was the islands of Puerto Rico and Cuba as well. Taino, Barico, and Ottawa.
Yeah. Yes. And so I have siren lineage or mermaid lineage or whatever. And my homegirl, she's Liberian. She just was telling me yesterday about Lemuria. Am I saying that right? And she was saying how like those were water people, and how basically before Atlantis, and I had never heard of them before, like her saying that. And I just feel like it's so crazy how like literally today you're like talking about it, because my first time really hearing about mer people was Atlantis, and then learning about my lineage. You know, I never knew that like before Atlantis there was anything else but what people said, like the Anunnaki and stuff like that. But for me, I don't really resonate with Anunnakis, you know, so like that's
I ain't too keen on them either, but since they part of the record, I got to talk about them whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
But before the Anunnaki came, like we used to like fucking dive under the water for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour with no problem. You know, so we was already, you know, partially aquatic. You know, partially land. It was more amphibious than we was either land dwellers or like, because we even right now in Africa, in South Africa, they on the coastline, they got young boys that dive underwater for extended periods of time catching fish, which is it's an echo from an earlier period.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was like doing more research because like my family doesn't really talk about the stuff like that. I had to just like piece everything together, as far as like even people having abilities, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a clairvoyant, but because like we've been colonized, like,
you telepathic too.
I'm sorry?
You're telepathic too.
Yes. And my fiance, he's from Detroit, and he's a medium. And like it's so crazy how like when I was growing up, they had us so fearful of like everything, you know what I'm saying? But like I was literally seeing before people would die, you know, I was literally seeing what was gonna happen tomorrow. And like I don't know, it's just so weird how like now like it's being more appreciated versus like, you know, being so scared. And then there's still skeptics or whatever, but I was looking into like mermaids, whatever, and they were talking about in Haiti how by the waters of Haiti there's mermaids that are taking women or young girls, and they're keeping them for a period of time and then bringing them back and teaching them magic, and they're not allowed to speak about what's happened or whatever because it's supposed to be sacred. And like people, you know, the inorganic ones, what I like to say, white people, like they are saying how like they're evil and this and that. And like for someone who knows my lineage, it actually kind of gets to me, because I'm just like, evil, like, you know, I don't feel like, you know, we're evil because we're, you know, not what you guys are, basically.
So look, skin color don't make you good or evil. Eye color don't make you good or evil. Hair texture don't make you good or evil. What you have rotten in your heart, making you fuck over people and mistreat people and think you better than other folks, that's what make you evil. Right? So the whole divide and conquer mechanism wasn't just skin-based racism. It was also, my religion is bigger than yours. My God is smarter than yours, tougher than yours, bigger than yours. You know, my candidate is a better politician than yours. And don't none of that shit got nothing to do with us.
Facts.
See, we didn't do racism before the invaders came. We invited all people over here that wanted to live by the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
I can see that.
And that's why it's always been known as the great melding pot. When you start searching in ancient history and you find out America, what we call America today, was referred to as the Great Amalgamation, the land of the Great Amalgamation. What the fuck is they talking about, and why do I keep running across this shit? Because all of the clans on Earth congregated on this land. This is the Holy Land.
And my father's side is Cherokee and Chickasaw, because he's from, like, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, but they're originally from North Carolina, so it's more like Cherokee over there and like a few other tribes. But I'm mainly Cherokee or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so the Cherokee migrated over there to fight in the Seminole Wars, just to give you a little background.
Oh, so I'm probably not even really from North Carolina. Like, my peoples are probably from wherever they migrated from then.
It's possible, but you're gonna be called whenever Big Mama gonna you just gonna know where to go. You're not gonna know why you want to go there, but you're gonna know you determined. That's what they call the matriarchal call. When you get that shit, ain't nobody gonna stop you from going where you feel you need to be on the energy grid during the shift, because everybody got to line up. Big Mama telling us all where to go.
That's crazy, because I'm about to go to Dominican Republic. I have land over there and I'm building a house, and I don't know why. Like I'm feeling so called to get back to my Taino roots over there. Like, I've been learning the ancient alphabet, you know, like the fact that you said, like, the Arawak people, they're not just in those, they're actually even in Mexico, you know? So, like, just learning all that is just, like, so crazy to me. And, like, I've just been like, why am I getting, like, called over here and called there or whatever? And every time I'm, like, called to different spots, because I just came back from, I'm in Atlanta right now, but I just came back from Norfolk, and I was there healing. Like, there was no reason for me to be there for real. I was at my grandmother's house, and I was learning so much about, like, my ancestors and why we look the way we look. Like, my grandmother's dark skin, but I look just like her. And we don't look like anybody else in our family, and it's because she has a different father. But it was just so, like, eye-opening to, like, actually, like, learn about what I have to learn about. And then I was just like, all right, on to the next. And then that's why I'm, like, planning my trip to go to Dominican Republic, because I'm just trying to pretty much get back to the roots.
So the Haiti is the big deal. Haiti got the dagger that belongs in the heart of the corporation known as the United States. It's the carryover, the residuals from the conjure of the Haitian Revolution. Now, when we talk about the Haitian Revolution, we never, ever, 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 ever talk about the other half of the island. The other half of the island was fighting too.
Yeah.
So we'll remember sporadic major events, and we'll read about them, and people will write about them. But why are they speaking French on one half of the island, Spanish on the other half? Right? And then some of the surrounding islands in close proximity, they speak in English. Right? All of us was fighting. There's no tribe that wasn't in this fight. There's not one. We was all in this shit. That's why you got motherfuckers that look like Polynesians in places where Polynesians shouldn't have been.
Facts. There's like Asian looking people in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And
So
they speak just like us. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm like, yo, where did y'all? They're like, we've been here forever. I'm just like, forever. Like,
so when we fought the Seminole Wars was like the big war battleground, because the trees, the terrain, the enemy couldn't get in there. Florida was way different topography than it is now.
More like marshy.
No, it was trees. The trees was like Florida redwoods, some of them. A lot of them was. But when the invaders would run in there, you had half of the Seminoles hit the treetops and attack them from the top, while the other half hit the marsh and attack them from the swampy ground. So they couldn't never get a stronghold. So they start cutting down the trees and setting fires until they pretty much, like right now when you go through Florida, most people don't pay it attention. But you have major tree stumps that's been there for at least 100 years, right? And they like, you can tell it was a bunch of trees there, but they don't cut them down. Like, when you know what lumberjacks do in foresting, they cut close to the ground. These trees not cut close to the ground, and they all did, right? And the reason they did, because they burnt them up, right?
It's crazy. I was born in Miami, but I claim Virginia because that's where I'm from. And like, we had a house in Miami and everything or whatever, but I was always telling my mom how I liked more so the middle of Florida and North Florida because it had more agriculture. Like it had more greenery there. Like in Miami, there's a few palm trees. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no like real green. And I was just like, it's actually crazy that it's just houses everywhere and there's no green, barely any grass.
The land in Florida used to look like the bayous of Louisiana. The whole, almost all of Florida. And then where all of the major cities of Florida, Jacksonville, Miami, Dayton, Tallahassee, those were what you call dry lands of Florida. The majority of Florida they lived in the treetops. We called them skywalkers. And it stretched, it wasn't just Florida. The rainforests of the South that was cut down stretched all the way going into Texas.
Oh, shoot. So like it went through Alabama, through Georgia, Alabama.
Through Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, all the way up into Texas. They had trees cut down. If you go back to the stories of what's this? He had Babe the Blue Ox, Paul Bunyan, the great lumberjack, right? Because Paul Bunyan was the symbol for the lumberjacks that they brought over here to chop all that shit down.
Wow.
Then they found out how to monetize the trees, and we was fucked after that.
Big,
Once they found out how to monetize the trees, that's when they started giving it to us with no motherfucking lube.
Do you believe in energy vortexes? Because like I'm here in Georgia, right? And like it does not, I get the kind of same feeling that I get when I'm in Arizona. Like it's a lot of, I mean, there's like a lot of bad everywhere, but it's a lot of weird shit going on over here. Like a lot of weird shit. And like,
well, this might help you. Atlanta is where Atlantis is supposed to reemerge from.
Ooh.
Atlanta. But before Atlantis can reemerge from Atlanta, meaning that the elders that's in Atlanta are the most instrumental, but they're not going to be seen until we see three kings walking the land. And when three kings raise the matriarch, there's some people in Atlanta that's probably about 200 years old. They got the real keys. The keys I got, that's just opening the door to Big Mama house. But the real old people that live in Atlanta, they real old. I mean, like they real old. Like they old to the point where the whites of their eyes look like it got buildup on it, and it's kind of like a grayish color. They old.
Look like they got cataracts.
Yeah, but they don't got no cataracts. They see better than you.
Yeah.
And they got a very strong mystic presence, and you can probably be feeling them from where you at.
That's interesting because I feel like it is probably the elders that are gonna have to come out when they come out, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's like people here in my age, I'm 23. Their frequency is so slave mentality, so locked in. And like I know like everybody has to go through their own journey and and figure it out themselves and wake up when they wake up. But it's crazy because you can give them all the facts, you can read them everything, and they'll be like, so. And it's just so crazy because it's just like, don't you want to be your best self? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to activate? Don't you want to, be the best you can be? And like, they're so different than any other like group of indigenous Aboriginal people. Because I've traveled a lot through the East Coast. And like, I don't know, the people in Atlanta, like, it's like they have like a hold on them. And it's so crazy because if you're saying it's going to be the new Atlantis, like, I feel like a lot of people, when they start waking up for real, when they start seeing everything, they're going to be sick, like sick.
Well, a lot of people in Atlanta not going to make it. A lot of people in Atlanta not going to make it. And it ain't nothing that they could do about it because they not wired with the requirements it's going to take to make it through this shift. But there is some old people, and Big Mama just told me, channeled this since I've been talking to you, there's some people that we think dead that's in a meditative trance. In Atlanta. I don't know where they at, but they in Atlanta, in the general area of Atlanta. She said when the Crystal City land, they're going to automatically wake up as if somebody poured cold water on them.
Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yep.
So I don't know, like when I first read them, I was like, well, this kind of makes sense. Like what it's saying doesn't sound crazy, doesn't sound bad. When it was like basically translating what it was. And then when I started doing some more research, it was a whole bunch of people saying that it's has to do with like the end of the world, apocalypses, and the Antichrist and stuff. But it had me really confused because I didn't feel like it said anything bad. Like, live with nature, live in harmony. Like, you know, it didn't have nothing that was like crazy on there. That was just like, okay, this is like bad. You know what I'm saying? Or not even bad, like for us to be in distress. But I also know that it was a certain kind of people who were saying that. And they wanted to, I read that they wanted to knock them down, but they couldn't figure out how to destroy them.
Anybody that you can, listen, this is the Saints. Anybody you can't figure out how to destroy them, if you can leave them to their own devices, they'll destroy themselves most of the time. Because people have a tendency, especially the way we taught, to become arrogant and egocentric to the point that they don't think that nobody can touch them. They think they're untouchable until they get touched.
Truly.
You know, so the best thing, like me, I just want to wake people up. You don't have to believe everything that I say. I don't expect nobody to, because ain't nobody supposed to believe everything somebody say. You know what I mean? You're supposed to check shit out. You know, that don't sound right. Right, that don't sound right to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to resonate with you. Like, if you get the goosies, if you know, flood in your spirit, and that's what it is. Like, I feel like right now, a lot of people are always questioning their intuition. And because I've always been a clairvoyant, and I've literally seen, like, literally my fiance's aunt, I told him, I was like, we got to check up on her because I had like this vision, she's going to be leaving. She left in a week. She was gone out of here in a week. Not forever, because, you know, we don't die, but like, she was gone. And like for me being so in tune with that, like I do my best to just listen to my intuition, listen to spirit, you know, and take my download seriously versus everybody else. And I noticed too, like in the spiritual community, everybody wants to be right. This is the real truth or whatever. And I'm just like, maybe that's your truth. Maybe that's your truth. You know what I'm saying? But there's only one truth. And if it don't resonate with everybody, it's probably not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? If most people are resonating with it.
This is the problem with people talking about they got the truth. You know, the reason why you know they don't got the truth is because during their research, they took sides. You can't take sides because you wasn't here. The body you in now wasn't here. You have to read that shit like a tarot card. If you don't read it like a tarot card, as an energy signature from the past that's coming into the future to give you some information, and you take sides on that shit, whatever side you pick, you're gonna pick the wrong side because there's lies on both sides of it. But when you don't pick sides and you just try to get like my man on Just the Facts, man, Adam 12, Just the Facts. Just don't even take sides, right? It's like your two favorite cousins get into a fight. Just break that shit up. Don't get in that shit.
Facts. Like I was on here the other day when you were speaking on a few other, I guess people in this community who are trying to wake people up. And like what I heard, I didn't hear nothing from you saying nothing bad. And everybody was tagging these people trying to like, you know, instigate something out. And I just kept putting in the comments like, he didn't say anything bad though. But he didn't say anything bad. Like
that's because they got to take a side.
You know, and I'm like,
this is how divide and conquer work.
Somebody just said the Atlanteans were born with ego, and that's why they fell.
They were infiltrated. That's why they fell.
Like
they didn't fall, really. Atlantis didn't fall. We was at war. And what they said sunk as Atlantis was a ship that flew away to Crystal City coming back. It just docked on Liverpool for the 3,600 year cycle until it come back around. Right? And that give us the time to figure out this conundrum we under and work our way out of the problem. But don't everybody that come to work their way out of the problem take sides and get us fucked. They always take sides and get us fucked. And that's why it took so long to break from under it. So it's even like people be trying to pit me against people. I'm not finna do that. Only way I'm gonna come at somebody is they wrong. Absolutely wrong. And Big Mama say, get them. They got. They got. But when I say something, you better believe I got the receipts to back it up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't take sides.
And I think that is a big problem. I think that is a big problem. Like, even for little things, you know, like For me growing up, like, you know, you talk a lot about like gang talk, you know, organizations, and like I never really understood why everyone was against each other. And I understand now what you're saying, like everybody has been infiltrated, and that's why people don't know that we're supposed to be brothers and sisters and stuff like that. But it was always so confusing to me, like, why are we taking the side when we're literally, that's literally your cousin. He on the next block over, that's your cousin, and you have to shoot against your cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should all be, especially because I lived in the hood. So like I would see like a lot of crazy things, like literally brothers killing each other, cousins killing each other, all for just because they want to rep something that they don't even understand fully. You know, like they don't even understand that like gang signs are sigils. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things, like a lot of stuff is like, a lot of stuff is ritual, positive ritual, and they're making it to negative ritual. And it's so crazy to me because I have been able to see deeper with that, like with watching you, you know, because everybody has this stigma, especially on the GDs. Like if you're in the East Coast, they have a stigma on the GDs, like whatever. And to know
that's
that,
government
like,
propaganda that teaches us that we. So we were talking about that. I was on a Telegram call. Was it Telegram? One of them channels over there on another app, and we was just talking about the gangs and the villainization of the culture. Trying to do, like, every family gonna have their own family Facebook, but then we gonna have an equivalent that we can socialize across tribes.
Mm.
And the family Facebooks are not going to be subject to public access from anybody. Just in general, it's going to be this family got these, you know, and some people going to have more than one account with different families because the bloodlines cross.
Can you still hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay, because earlier when I didn't have my headset in, they said my audio seemed scratched up. My phone was about to die, so I had to hurry up and catch that. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I seen two more questions. A question that keeps popping up is, can you speak more in depth on the Crystal City?
So when all of the drama happened, the Crystal City flew away. That's when they talk about Noah's Ark. Okay, so all of the genetic material of the animals was there. Okay, so now Genesis 7:17 said it flew away. They took it up into the sky. The story of Atlantis said it sank. They tell us everything in reverse, upside down and backwards. When you get to Revelations, the Crystal City comes adorned as a bride for her groom. It's actually the Christ returns on the Crystal City and adorned as a bride for her groom, right? The stories of the Crystal City are all over the world under different titles and different names. The Nation of Islam call it the Mother Plane, right? It's a shuttle ship or sham in Sumer that goes to Nibiru to deliver the gold. When the Galactic Council put us in the Galactic Light Lock, or the Pleiadian Arcturian Light Lock, right? And the Crystal City was in a to deliver gold to Nibiru, so it wasn't here. So Light Lock came in, they couldn't get back in. Right? Now we are undoing the cause of the Light Lock by overthrowing the contractual agreements with the enemy. Once we overthrow these contractual agreements, then it automatically lifts the Light Lock. We all then become activated on a higher level mentally, because the Light Lock caused us to fall into an artificial Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is the sleep state of the gods, right? And during the sleep of the gods is when the trainees, the new gods, learn how to become gods, how to balance the energy of the earth. Well, the people that's here don't have no intentions on balancing nothing. They had nothing but destruction on their mind because it was all military. Now we going back to spiritual development, family structures, clanning up, tribing up, as they call it. But the word tribe, we didn't use that word. We didn't even use the word clan, but we use different terms. But we don't speak none of those languages. Right? So we using the language, what we call the contemporary language, to try to relay ancient terms, ancient ideas into modern terminologies using the contemporary language. In our case, we speaking now English. But if we was in, say, Puerto Rico, we would probably be talking the same thing in Spanish. Right? And it is by this means that they use the language of English by incorporating words as catch terms. A catch term is a word that incorporate a group of words from around the world that mean different things under one word, so you can make it appear they all mean the same.
Oh no. Okay, you went on for a second.
Yeah, somebody was trying to call me.
Oh, okay, my phone. That's why they say the English language is a curse, because it be having some multiple meanings.
Right. Well, that was done deliberately. Right. So when we look at dictionaries, what do the word diction mean? Pronunciation, right? In Arabic, that's what they call tajweed, the pronunciation of accurate Arabic. Because the foreigner is never going to have the same accent and carry the language the same as the one that's a native speaker. And that's why Malachi had to learn Spanish, Hebrew, Greek. I don't got to learn all that shit. I know how to go back to the lexicons and the etymology dictionaries and get to the source. I don't need to be able to fluently read it. And if it comes up as a question, I can take the Bible and hand by hand, I can word for word translate it. Right? But that's not necessary because Malachi already done it. Right? So since he already did it, I don't have to worry about that. I'm only worried about the shit he didn't do yet. And the only thing he didn't do was to assert his birthright to oust the imposters off the land. Apparently wasn't his job.
And for those who don't know, just coming in, how would you go about asserting your birthright?
So, and under our culture and the oral tradition, we reserve our rights in the public domain and disavow any allegiance to a legal fiction or corporation. And if you know your tribe, you can announce your tribe with it. If you don't, just say you organic to the land. You the organic people that's organic to this land that they call the Americas. Right? So once you do that, you know, you stepping out of their jurisdiction back into your, what you call proprietary persona or proper person. As the proper person, now it's on file. The more of us do it, the faster this shit go. We could have been done with this 3 years ago had the people been fertile ground for us to reclaim our shit. We could have done it as early as July the 4th, 2019.